Galaxy of Zeros incoming.
Did you hear that?
This is madness.
Welcome, everybody, to the Eulogy for the Galaxy of Zeros podcast. I'm Chris.
Yeah, we're dead.
Yeah, it's dead. It's long dead. I'm Chris. We also have Sean.
I'm here.
And Mitch.
It's actually me.
And he's calling in. We actually figured out how to have people call into the podcast for the eulogy of the podcast. And, you know, we decided that this would be a good time to put out a final version of a podcast here just to say thanks to all the listeners, I guess, and for those people that actually listened and subscribed. You know, we appreciate the time that you put in, but this thing has been dead in the water for a couple months now, and we're just gonna let it kind of fall into oblivion.
If anyone subscribed to this, it's like, oh hey, a new one. It's like, oh surprise, we're dead.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we all had some fun times doing this.
Yeah, you okay?
With our long beginning with the Galaxy of Heroes mobile game. Don't know who was left from there listening, but...
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, we started off with that game, and plenty of other people continued on doing podcasts and videos about that game, and man, they managed to somehow stay afloat and be popular with, you know, people that played that game. We put out one episode and turned everybody against us, and that was the end of that.
Oh, that was good times.
Yeah, it was.
We enjoyed ourselves. It was fun.
That was fun. So.
Yeah, so what did you guys do today?
We just brewed some beer, actually. Like, we just spent the last 4+ hours or so. You got here like a little before 4 o'clock.
Maybe we could do a podcast about that.
Beer brewing.
It's a podcast about the beers.
Right.
I'm definitely not going to be on that one.
Yeah.
I'll be like, it smells okay. I'm over here just drinking some water.
Yep.
And have a couple cans of your La Croix.
This key lime one is quite interesting.
This is why people don't want to listen to us anymore, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I think our conversations were fine, and I feel like we could probably still do a podcast of some sort, whether it be the D&D stuff that we've been trying out, or if it is something else. I think it's a possibility we could still do something. I think with the right goal, or we started off kind of hamstring ourselves with that game. And then when we tried to go off into other things, we just could never really figure out what we wanted to do. But if we had a general idea of what the podcast was supposed to be, that didn't require too much crazy research to be able to talk for a little bit, I think we could do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, well, we'll have that D&D one going eventually, but I mean, this whole thing will probably close out by then, so...
Well, so the audio version of this is going to be gone probably within the next few weeks, so I'm going to post this as soon as I can so that anybody that is still subscribed on iTunes will get it before it goes offline for good. And I could still put this one up on the YouTube as well, and just the YouTube will live on forever as far as I'm concerned. Somebody stumbles across that, we don't have to pay for that one, so that can just stay there for as long as we want it to, really.
Oh, true. Well, that's good times. This is good times.
Good time.
It was fun. It was a fun experiment. And
yeah.
I definitely want to get something going. We have ideas in the works. Mentioning the D&D stuff, and Mitch and I have been kicking around some other ideas. Just tons of things you can do. And it's not I feel like when you come into something like this, you feel like, oh, podcasts have been around. You're never going to be able to make it big, or you're never going to be able to grow an audience. But that's not necessarily the case. I feel like it's the same as a radio show or a TV show, where a TV show can become big overnight, and then, build a following that way. It's about the content, and that people finding it interesting is what would keep people listening to a podcast. And not to say that we didn't have good content, but it was a struggle to get it together, I think.
Yeah. Plus, we're all playing Pocket Camp now anyway, so...
I'm about to give up on that fucking game. Like, I played it this whole week, but it's so boring now. It's like it's the same thing every day. I don't want to go and fucking pick bugs off trees and go fish, like these little fishing games. It's not even fun. It's not fun anymore. Like, it's all about, like, okay, now you got to do this, and do these goals. And I already have enough of that bullshit because of just playing Galaxy of Heroes.
Yeah, I mean, that's all the games are, really. When you break it down, there's only, maybe like a handful of different types of games, and you got to grind and get stuff. And then, when they grind and throw in a battle in there, people fighting each other in some way, or puzzle games, it's like the same rhetoric for each app, every game.
Right, but there used to be games that ended. Right? You would play through a game and you'd get to the end. It would just be a storyline, and it would be a type of gameplay, whether it was a first-person shooter or I just bought Diablo 2. Like, I never played Diablo games before, and I heard Diablo 2 was pretty dope. And so far, it's pretty cool. It's definitely different than anything I've been playing recently. Yeah. And I also jumped, because we've been doing the D&D stuff. It's like playing a video game version of D&D. You're playing as one of the characters you play in D&D,
right?
Essentially, and you run around killing monsters and that sort of thing. So I took it to this old fucking, I think Diablo 2 came out in like 2000 or something like that, or even longer ago. Like a long time ago.
While.
And so obviously it's some dated game, but it's not bad for what it is.
Storylines are good. The mobile games are kind of stale to me. So,
well, I mean, beyond Star Wars, I play Futurama has a game out there, and it's like The Simpsons tapped out, but then they also have some like quest systems built in, which are okay. In general, it's a time waster when I'm run out of things to do in Galaxy of Heroes, but I still have 20 minutes left on the treadmill. And Pocket Camp is the same way. I mean, I never played Animal Crossing before, and then when it came out for iOS, I was like, I'll try it. And the concept was cool, and if there was more to do, I think I'd be more interested in it. But it's like 3 tasks. You do the same ones over and over again. You have to visit people's campsites and say, hey, you got a good campsite. It's like the whole gist of it.
Listen... But do you have a cool tent with a motorcycle?
I do.
Oh, you do? All right, never mind.
And you have like a street or something? I thought you built some other... It was like a set or something like in yours.
Yeah, where they got one of the dudes, they go up there and they play acoustic guitar next to the telephone booth on that little street thing.
Oh, they play guitar?
Yeah. I don't know if I always have my sound off, so if they actually play a little song, I don't even know.
Dude, there's people that have like taken their camps and turned them into like cults.
Oh yeah, have you seen that? Like,
yeah, like
lamp one.
Yeah, the lamp cults. So the way that it works, Sean, is they have fences in here. So when you invite people to your campsite, they just stay there till you kick them out. But you can set up fences around them and lock them in place.
Oh.
And then they can't go anywhere. And so people have done this, and they've quartered all these different characters off. And there was one that it was just a single like lamp, and like one person going. If there's a lamp there and a character's there to do it, it just turns the lamp on and off over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's like all these characters just sitting there while a guy turns the lamp on and off, on and off. And then there was another one where it was like every single person had their own individual lamp, and they're all walled off. And then some of them literally look like little prisons where it's like they have all these pens for all these different animal creatures. Because they're all animals that are coming to visit. And then there was one where it was a prison, and one of the guys in the prison was locked in with like a bird cage. So all he could do was look at this bird cage, so see a bird trapped in a prison while he himself is trapped in your camp prison. So it's some weird stuff people do with these types of things.
Yeah, fucking weirdos.
Yeah, we're right there. Well, that's all I got to say. Thanks everybody that listened again and watched the videos. I put way too much time into editing those videos for what they ended up being, and I thought they were funny. Some people thought they were funny. Some people thought they were bullshit. Humor is subjective. Yeah. So, thanks if you did check that stuff out. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for all the Fantano followers that came.
Yeah,
came
we got a
along.
bunch of you from the interview with Anthony, a good friend of the show, who came on that one episode, and that was the most downloaded episode and most viewed episode we ever did. And, thanks to him for coming on. And, we also have to thank Jordan. Jordan was part of the show.
That's right.
And he left, and, we ended up just kind of going our own way that's kind of why the podcast kind of dropped off. Once he left, we never really sat back down to do it after that. Maybe we had one or two episodes.
I don't remember.
I don't even remember.
Me either.
It doesn't matter now. It's all done. So
It's Jordan's fault.
whatever.
Yeah.
Nope. What the hell was that, Mitch?
Well, that was like, we're in a downward spiral anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I just want to make fun of Jordan.
But yeah, so we're done now. We're going to probably come out with some really cool adventure-y stuff with some different people.
So if you do, if you did like what we're doing, you could, follow myself or Mitch on Twitter, and you'll find updates there when we do come out with something else. I'm at Chris Meatbag. Chris Meatbag, and then Mitch, what is your Twitter?
It's MW takes. Is it MW takes photos? I don't even remember off the top of my head.
I think it's MW takes photos.
Yeah, MW takes photos. Put it in the description if people want to follow us. So if eventually you might be interested in seeing anything we might do in the future, in the close future of podcasting stuff with some adventure-y storyline stuff or some really cool different things than just, talking about
Bullshit.
Snacks and bullshit, yeah.
Jerky.
Yeah.
It was probably about a
The
month
jerky
ago.
was really good, though.
The jerky was delicious. About a month ago, I was cleaning up down here, straightening up around here, and behind the printer, I moved it, and there was Cheetos from those terrible Cheetos where I smashed the bag with the baseball bat. That was like one of the first ones we did.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the Cheetos had been sitting behind that printer all that time.
Nice.
Did you eat it?
No, I did not eat it. I know. I should have eaten it.
There you go. Disappointment all around.
And now we got the Skype thing figured out. Maybe we can expand.
We can expand it, or
maybe invite people.
Right, and invite people, or say, Sean, maybe if you're traveling and you have a night and you're in a hotel room or something, and we just happen to plan to do something, we could set something up and have you Skype in.
Hotel room porn. We can do some podcast stuff.
Turn off the YouPorn for a minute.
Yeah, in actuality, how long are you going to be looking at YouPorn for? I guess it doesn't really matter.
It's really get personal.
Don't ask, don't tell.
What if he's a 2-hour porn? Whatever.
I just jump on MW takes photos, look at what pictures he posted.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I think that's
it. We're spent.
That's it. That's it, guys. The podcast is officially dead. So
official.
Thanks everybody for listening, and hopefully you'll hear from us again sometime soon under something else.
Heckin' yeah.
Adios.
All right. Bye-bye.
Tell your mom we're not coming to dinner anymore.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
We're not coming to dinner.
She'll be so disappointed.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Chris.
What?
Hey, what's the difference between 3 cocks and a joke?
I don't know what.
Your mom can't take a joke.
And that's the end of the podcast. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good night. Galaxy of fucking wieners.